Yo, we back. Another episode. I gotta get better at these intros. Welcome to Unofficially Retired. I'm your host, Shoota. And let's get into it, brother. I don't have nothing else to talk about. Really, I don't have no intros. I'm okay. Today has been a day. Uh, but we're here regardless. How y'all doing? Hopefully y'all alright. Seems like my camera up and running, got the mic and everything look like everything. You feel me? I think I'm thugging this one by myself again. If somebody decides to join it, obviously you'll see them when they come on here. But as of right now, man, y'all just got me and this beautiful face of mine that needs a haircut. Anyway, welcome back, man. Welcome back. I think we'll just jump straight into it. We're going to these week one reviews. So at the end of last week, whoa, I'm tripping. Comment, like, subscribe. Comment, like, subscribe. Comment, like, subscribe. Subscribe, like, comment. Subscribe, like, subscribe. Comment, like, subscribe. Okay, got that out there. You know what I'm saying, y'all? Make sure to do one of those things. And if you really, really, really fought with us, me right now, but us in general, you go ahead and hit that little bell. There's a little bell that's right by the subscribe button. There's a post notification. So you hit that. Anytime I go live, you'll know. Sometimes these are very impromptu. So, I appreciate the ones that already got it. I appreciate the ones that stay tapped in. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Anyway, moving on. Week one. I gotta find the list of games. I went 8-5 last week based on my picks. I gotta just find the list again. Okay, so we had Falcons, Bucks. I picked the Bucks. All right, I'm not gonna go through this list. I'm sorry, y'all. But week one winners, we had Cowboys over the Eagles, Chargers over the Chiefs. We had the Bucks over the Falcons, the Bengals over the Browns, the Colts over the Dolphins. Daniel Jones, shout out to you. I didn't ever say that much when you were on my team, but hey, man, shout out to you. You had a really good one. Actually, you had a historical one. Something no one's ever done in history is lead 7 scoring drives in a row. You scored every time you touched the ball. I wish you could have left some of that over here, but I mean, it is what it is. You had a few of those games similar as a Giant, and I think people don't understand that Daniel Jones' problem as a quarterback was consistency, not his ability, if that makes sense. Like, I think he has the ability. I think we all kind of do that. And he's perfect quarterback frame, 6'5". He can run a little bit. Yeah, his problem is consistency, and I think he started to see ghosts because our O-line wasn't that good. So, shout out to him, though. Moving on. Jags over the Panthers. Raiders over New England. Cardinals over Saints, obviously. Steelers over Jets. Commanders over Giants. That one, we'll get into that one next. It was that Broncos over the Titans. San Francisco over Seattle. Green Bay over Detroit. The Rams over the Texans. Buffalo over the Ravens. We'll definitely get into that one. And then the Vikings over the Bears. Again, we'll get into that one. Those were primetime games. I don't think you can ask for nothing else. You feel me? Moving on to the Giant disappointment of the weekend. Maybe not for y'all, but for me. You see that big ass flag in the back. I will take this time to get on my soapbox about the New York Giants. It's just me here, so y'all got to deal with it. Sorry. And if you're watching later on, you can skip this part. I'm fine with it, but I got to get it off a little bit. Giant disappointment, man. Washington, they smoked the Giants. I ain't gonna lie. 21-6 was the score. That don't sound too bad, and it was 14-6 in the fourth quarter. also don't sound too bad, but it could have been a little worse. I'm not really one of those people that prescribe to the idea that the other team had a few misses, so it could have been worse. So we had a few misses, and it could have been closer. Like, what's the difference? Like, I don't subscribe to that idea. So 14-6 in the fourth quarter, and yeah, the offense, you had 6 points in the fourth quarter. That should tell you everything you need to know. Couldn't run the ball, obviously. Couldn't pass the ball, couldn't score. We had 13 plays inside the red zone and ended up with 3 points. That should tell you how that day kind of went. Offense wouldn't move the ball. The offense this year looks like the offense last year, if I'm being honest. Russell Wilson had 168 yards, no touchdowns, and a 59 rating. We could have kept backups for that. We could have kept some of the guys we had last year. If that was the case, we could have kept DeVito. He might have did a little better than that. And I'm not blaming just Russ. That O-line was bad. And I think he did start to see ghosts because he started to leave pockets that were clean. So the whole day was not clean for him. But when there was clean pockets, he decided to dip. And I think that's strictly because he was getting his ass abused at the beginning of the game. Makes sense. It's human nature, but I can't have my quarterback do that. If you play for another organization, then by all means. But mine, I've dealt with that enough. I know the line has been a problem for quite some time, but it seems to be okay with people that know how to manipulate a pocket. I say okay, and I leave it at okay, not good, not great, not nothing. Okay. Yeah, man. The defense was solid. That's how you keep offense like Washington to 4 points in the 14 points in the fourth quarter. But similar to last year, they can't hold on but for so long. I do think that the defense was okay or solid. They weren't good by any stretch of the means, and they definitely didn't dominate. But I don't think they were terrible. I think some of the stuff that's going on is a little overblown. I think our coordinators killed us this game. I think offensively, we were running a lot of wide receiver screens, a lot of plays that were right at the line of scrimmage, and it was just baffling to me, if I'm being honest. Yeah, the coordinators were on one, as well as the defense coordinator, Shane Bowen. He had Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau, Abdul Carter, and Dexter Lawrence. Those are our four best defensive linemen, and the reason our defense is supposed to be elite. He had them on the field together for only 8 plays. Only 8 plays out of the 65. Right. And then Abdul Carter only played 30, I believe 30 some odd snaps out of the 65. So, yeah, you picked him number 3 overall to sit on the bench or to spot a quarterback. It was just bad. It was just all bad. Adding to that, Darius Slayton only had 1 target. Jalen Hyatt didn't play. Malik had another 12 targets. We're going to get this man killed. I'm just being honest with y'all. We're going to get this man killed. He's not the only person we should throw the ball to. And that's how the offense was designed on Sunday. It was like one route concepts. Everybody else is running clear outs, and we're trying to get the ball to one. And it's like, if you felt this badly about everybody else on offense, you should have did more work in the offseason gathering more talent. Instead of paying Darius Slayton, 3 for 36, 3 years, $36 million? Instead of paying him that, you could have got at somebody else that you actually believed in and actually going to give some targets to. But that's enough of my soapbox on them. I'm cool on them. Cool on all of that. Fuck the Giants for right now. But go beat Dallas on Sunday. Moving on. NFC South, Falcons versus the Bucks. This was a really good game. I came on the same time as the Giants game, so I was kind of in and out in between commercials, flipping back and forth. This is a great game, though. I think the division might be a little closer than we think. I ain't gonna say than we think. Maybe than I thought. I thought the Bucks had their hands down. If I'm correct, I believe the Falcons beat the Bucks twice last year. So that right there should have told me that this wasn't gonna be a cakewalk for the Bucks in this division. But they got it done, man. Game-winning drive by Baker to the rookie Ibuka. I don't want to mess up his whole name, so I'm gonna leave it as Ibuka. Apparently, he called his own route. Apparently, he told him, "Hey, let me run a post because I'm gonna cook him on this route." and it worked. It was a game winner. That take a lot of nuts from a rookie. That take a lot of belief from your quarterback and your offensive coordinator and whoever was calling these plays. That takes a lot of nuts from all of y'all to like take what he said and run with it. That takes a lot of belief. That takes a lot of faith. I think that's a real team galvanizing moment right there. Baker ended with 167, 3 touchdowns. 167 ain't shit, but the 3 touchdowns, you'll take it all day. 99 passer rating, you'll definitely take that. Michael Penix, I really, really like him. I just hope he's not falling into one of those Atlanta teams that Matt Ryan used to have. Now, I do think so. Let me explain. I do think the Falcons' defense is a lot better than some of those defenses Matt Ryan had to deal with. But I do also think that in all the games I've watched, Michael Penix has been, I don't want to say excellent, but he's been pretty damn good. And for some reason, it seems like they always lose those games. He ended the game 298, 1 touchdown, 93 passer rating. It seems like he got Kyle Pitts back in the game. I can't even think the last time Kyle Pitts Kyle Pitts had 7 catches in the same game. I can't even think about that. So he might be resurging Kyle Pitts a little bit. Drake London got hurt, but I think Raheem Morris said he'll be good to go in week 2 when they play the Vikings. So that offense, and Bijan was a monster. He had 100 receiving yards, I think 30, 40 rushing yards, so 100 plus all purpose. A back like him, he don't just got to do it getting handoffs. He could do it any type of way you need him, to be honest. And I think this offense, like I've been saying, is full of first rounders. And I think if they all hit their stride at the same time, it could be dangerous. That offense could be extremely dangerous. I'm not going to lie to nobody. The defense needs to continue to get better, but I think what they do, hold them to 17 in the fourth. Like everybody was playing well. I just think that was a division game, and that's how those turn out sometimes. So I can't really put too much stock into the Bucks after that game, and I can't really take too much away from the Falcons after that one. I think that was a good one on both ends. I think that's how division games just kind of go sometimes, if I'm being completely honest. But speaking of division games, we'll move on to the Cincinnati Bengals. Let me get my colors right. You know what I'm saying? Good little orange. That is bad orange. That is ugly orange. Anyway, so the question is, will week 1 win help Cincy's season? So if you know that Zach Taylor, since he's been the coach, is 1-11 in his first 2 games of each season as the head coach of the Bengals. So this year they decided to play a little preseason because they've never played the preseason before with him as the head coach. The starters haven't. So they decided to play preseason, hopefully get them off to a good start. And they won. I mean, it was a very close game. I believe it was 17-16, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. Cincinnati. Let's see, Bengals versus Browns. Yeah, that was 17-16. So that was an extremely close game. Burrow did not play that well. But you got the dub, so I think that's all that really matters. Burrow went 14-23, 113 and a touchdown. 113. Awful. You feel me? That should tell you everything you need to know. Jamar Chase only had 2 catches, 26 yards. T. Higgins, 3 for 33. Like, that should tell you. But going back to what I said about the Falcons Bucks, this is a division game. So with it being a division game, that's just how these turn out sometimes. They're going to be tough. They're going to be rugged, especially out there in the AFC North. I think those are the only teams that the Browns actually compete with, are the teams that they play more than once a year. And no shot at the Browns. We know how they are this year. They're not good, but that's just me being honest. Wholeheartedly believe that these division games are just a little harder than these regular games. So I can't really take nothing away from Cincinnati because they needed this win bad to start their season on a good note. And I also think you just need to beat the bad teams. Like, they got the Jags next on the schedule. I don't think the Jags are Cleveland bad, but I don't think they're, if we talking in terms of their division, I don't think they're Baltimore good or even Steelers good. You know what I mean? So they should be able to win these first two games and kind of ease into their schedule. They missed the playoffs last year, I believe, by a game or two. But I know the first game of the year they lost to the Patriots, who ended up winning 5 games that year. So if you win these easy games, it helps you a lot more than you probably notice. But winning these ones you should win stop you from being in situations like you was in last year where you need help to get in. You need somebody else to lose, or 3 teams to lose, or 4 teams to win, and 3 teams to lose. Like too many scenarios like that for y'all, and I think at least the offense is too good for that. And the defense, I can't really say much about the defense. I guess they stepped up because the offense wasn't there. So they did step up, hold Cleveland to 16 points. I think Cleveland's bad, though. So that's not a major thing. And I can't really say they stepped up per se because Joe Flacco still threw for 290. But, I mean, he threw 2 picks. So, turnovers, get the balls out of their hands, back in your hands, kill some clock, things of that nature. It makes life a little easier when your defense plays pretty good, but we'll see what they're really talking about come soon, to be honest. Like, I don't know about next week. I don't know what the Jags is going to have in store for us. I don't have too much stock in them, but, we shall see. Moving on. Green Bay. I think that green, there we go. That green was a little too light. Moving on to Green Bay, man. We all know they had the blockbuster trade with Micah Parsons, trading away Kenny Clark and 2 first-round picks for Micah. Y'all see the question on the screen. Is Green Bay legit? Or is Detroit window just closed? Because they smacked Detroit. Green Bay went ahead and smacked Detroit up real quick. So, we got to ask that question. Are they legit? I'm sorry. I'm stalling y'all. I'm trying to get the score to the game. It was 27-13, but it actually wasn't that close. I don't know if Green Bay is legit or not. I think they can be scarier as the season kind of goes on, if I'm being honest. They a little. I think. Let me say, it all depends on Jordan Love. I think that defense was really good without Micah. Is extremely good now. Micah only played 29 snaps. He had 3 pressures and a sack. So it's like, as he continues to ramp it up, man, as he's going to play. What's he going to play? He's going to play 80, 90% of the snaps as he gets used to the playbook and actually gets in shape in the back heels and things of that nature. Like, that defense could be extremely scary. Mike on one side, Rashawn Gary on the other side, Quay Walker in the middle. What's his name? Xavier McKinney in the back. I just named 4 players, and that's on each level. Like, that's a player on each level. Most teams don't have that. So that defense can be extremely good. They can be damn near as good as they want to be. Yeah, and I say it rides on Jordan Love because, well, one, he's a quarterback, so he plays the most important position, but his ability to keep the ball safe will determine how far they go, if I'm being honest. I think point blank period, his ability to keep the ball out of harm's way, keep possessions on your side will be the end all be all for the Packers. As most people kind of say it always has been, because that's Jordan Love's one problem is he turns the ball over. But I think with this kind of defense, I think it's really like, hey, we're going to get stopped. As long as you don't turn the ball over, you don't even have to score it every time. As long as you don't turn the ball over, we'll be all right. And I might be able to create you a couple extra possessions because I'm going to force these turnovers as the defense. This is the defense talking to him. So I think Green Bay could be as good as they would like. Matthew Golden didn't really do anything. He had 2 catches, 16 yards. Wasn't much of nothing. But I guess if he turns into another B-plus receiver, they got a whole bunch of them now. And I guess, every one of them had a day eventually. Just kind of take turns. I don't know. But I do think that this team especially, and I don't think they ran the ball nothing crazy either. Green Bay didn't. So If they can do that, I think they will be scary because they held the Lions to 40 yards. The Lions are a great rushing team. They held them to 40 yards. So it's just like, hey, it could get real. But them holding the Lions to 40 yards goes into my next question is like, is Detroit window just closed? Is Detroit even what we thought they were? How much impact does losing all of these coordinators have on these players, basically? You know what I mean? Like the line's pretty much still the line's not really intact. They lost the middle of that line. Frank Ragnow's gone, and um, ah, I don't know. I don't know about Detroit. I think their window might have closed. They had a 2-year window though. It wasn't like it was just here and gone. They had a 2-year window and did they folded twice if I'm being honest. So I think Detroit window might actually just be closed, especially if Green Bay is going to continue to play the way they played against Detroit. If they're going to play like that against everybody, or just even everybody in the division, don't even got to be everybody. If they're going to continue to play like that against the Vikings and the Bears as well, then I think this is pretty much a wrap for this division. And I know it's only week one. I know it's only week one, and I don't like to draw too many conclusions off week one. But if, you know what I'm saying, if Green Bay keep playing like this, man, Detroit might be cooked as far as the division goes. I'm just being honest. Two teams can make it the playoffs from one division, so we'll see. But yeah, I think Detroit window might actually just be closed. You know, like they got to get it together fast. I think the division is too good for them not to figure it out. Like I think they got the first 3-4 weeks to figure it out. If it's not figured out by then, they're cooked. And I just think the division is too good for them to have time to figure it out. Because I think, based on what I saw, and we'll get to it in Chicago, them and Chicago in that division are the only two teams that have to figure it out per se. Everybody else just kind of knows what they're going to do. Everybody else has some sort of identity, and I thought that, and I thought that the Lions have one, and they probably still do. It just didn't come to fruition. So we'll see on the Lions. You know what I mean? But I do think they need to get it together ASAP. I mean ASAP. And speaking of a team that needs to get it together ASAP, you know it. Anytime you see that purple, you know. About to get into Lamar knows Ravens. If you've seen the game, you know it was 41-40 Buffalo. Uh, Buffalo threw for about Josh Allen and the Bills offense went for about 300 plus yards in the fourth quarter. They were down 40-25 when the fourth started, if I believe, so 15 points. Came all the way back, and I was gonna say won that football game, but to answer this question, I think Baltimore lost this game. I 100% think Baltimore lost this game. Like no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I think being up 15 in the fourth quarter, I think that fumble hurts. I think Derrick Henry's fumble at the end of the game just hurts because he was cooking. He was cooking the whole game, and I understand it's just nature, to be honest. Because I was about to say he got to put two hands on the ball, but I also understand what type of runner he is. First contact, what is that? I gotta go ahead and hey, I'm about to use this stiff arm and things of that nature. But that was a hell of a play by Ed Oliver. Got the Bills in good field position, and we were off from there. We were off from there. But I do think Baltimore just loses games like this. This is what they do. Lamar played perfect, so I'm glad he had a game like this, and they still lost in the fashion they lost. So people just stop always blaming Lamar for the things that happen sometimes. It might be time for Harbaugh to get out of here, man. And my homie TJ, let me call him my Ravens fan confidant, whatever the fuck you want to call it. He's been saying this for a while. He's been preaching that Harbaugh should be gone for quite some time now, if I'm being honest. And this stat is kind of staggering. I actually didn't know. Harbaugh has blown 17 double-digit leads since he's been there. 17. double-digit leads, not just leads, double digits, nigga. In football, double digits mean 2 possessions, so 2 possessions or more. You've blown those leads, and I would assume a blown lead is not just, oh, we was up 2 touchdowns early and it kind of just dwindled away from us. I would think that a lot of those, and I got to do some more research, that a lot of those 17 are like fourth quarter, halftime things that the other team makes adjustments and you don't, just because you're winning. Now that's like the biggest thing my homie TJ been on about these Ravens is the adjustments. They don't make adjustments, whether it's good or bad in the first half. They don't make adjustments. That would make sense. Watching how that game played out, that would make a lot of sense. Y'all thought everything was smooth and dandy because y'all was busting ass. Oh, we just gonna continue to do this? Ain't nothing's wrong. A lot is wrong. There's always something to improve on. And as a head coach, I think you would know that. As a head coach who's been a head coach as long as he has, I would think you would know that. I think he falls victim of the I let my coaches coach. I let my coordinators coach and coordinate. I don't really interfere or step in. Wins and losses is on your head, brother. I think if you're not the biggest part in that, I think you and the quarterback share that responsibility, at least out here in the media, at least out here to niggas like me that just sit there and watch football. You know, I'm not John Madden of football, but I do sit here and watch it and understand it a little bit. But to people like me, you and said quarterback are probably the highest on the scale of blame when we go down the list. So if I know that, I would think you know that. And if you know that, I would think at some points you would intervene and be like, hey, just an example, not saying this, but hey, we're up. How about we stop trying to make Lamar be Pat Mahomes and throw for 400 tonight? We up 2 touchdowns in the fourth. How about we just get a ball to that woolly mammoth back there? How about we give the ball to whoever was back there? Because the Ravens have always been a good rushing team. They've always averaged pretty much like 4.5 a pop every time they hand it off to whoever the fuck is back there. So how about we give it to him? No? Okay. How about we stop running this ball because we actually have to pass it now? How about we throw it? And I would think it would be that simple, especially when you're the head coach and the final decisions kind of fall on you, but I guess not. Along with, this is a real example, not going forward on fourth down. Not going forward on that fourth down is insane to me. You got a two-time NFL MVP back there and you decide not to. 4th and 1, 4th and 2, you decide not to go for it. You get a ball back to a team that's been scoring every drive since the second half started. You're gonna get a ball back to them. That just doesn't make the most sense to me. Like, cool. Even if you do that, like take some more time off the clock. I don't know. Even if you punt the ball, I guess go up there and act like you're gonna do it. Try to get somebody off sides. Like you don't get nobody off sides, then okay. Then you call timeout. Then once you go back in, you try to draw somebody off sides again, and then if they don't bite, then you just take that 5-yard penalty, and then you kick the ball. But other than that, you just sat there and watched for the most part. I don't know Harbaugh. I don't know what they say. Get well soon, bro. Get well soon. And speaking of get well soon, the Bears. I think all Bears fans need to get well soon. It'll be all right. It'll be all right. It was a little rough, but it will get better. You know what I mean? JJ leads the comeback. If y'all didn't watch Monday Night Football, y'all missed a hell of a game. I'm not gonna lie. Bears versus the Vikings. Y'all missed a good one. I ain't gonna lie. 27-24. 27-24 Vikings over the Bears. I'm sorry, y'all. Looking at these stats. Yeah, the score was 10-6 at half. Then it was 17-6 going into the fourth. Then Minnesota scored 21 straight points. You feel me? They scored 21 straight points. Chicago only scored one touchdown in the fourth. I don't got much to say about this one. This one was actually surprising. I knew there would be a lot of things to change for Caleb as far as like understanding Ben Johnson's schemes, what he wanted to do. But I think he kind of played himself into a shell, if I'm being honest. There was a lot of deeper reads, back half reads, where he would just take the check down. And I don't know if that's like get something instead of nothing, but sometimes you got to take that chance. I feel like, I don't want to say it now. Like, I feel like Ben Johnson kind of took the aggression out of him. Like, which kind of made him him. That kind of made him special. Some of the shit he's able to do with that football. So I'm not saying Ben Johnson did it on purpose. I'm saying the way he's being taught to play quarterback now is kind of, I think, doing more. You know what I mean? I think that's doing more bad than good. You know what I'm saying? The way he's being taught to play quarterback now. JJ looked, moving on to Minnesota quarterback, JJ looked solid. I think he made a believer out of every player on that team, everybody on the practice squad. He made the GM a believer. He made the coach a believer. He made that entire building believers after this game. And I'll just say that because he was having a god-awful game. I mean, a god-awful game. And I can't say god-awful. It was a lot of pressure going on. There was a lot of pressure in his face. I think the game was really, really fast for him. It's his first game in about a year and a half, if I'm going to be honest. His first real action in about a year and a half. So maybe not a year and a half, year and a couple months. The last game he played was a national championship at Michigan. That's the last real game of any consequence he played. So I think for that, I think that's for him to not play it in so long and for this to be his first NFL game, I think that was amazing. I'll say that. But I think his numbers and everything was kind of just solid. If you watch the game, what's his name? Bobby Skinner. Sorry, Bobby. Bobby Skinner over there talking Giants. He tweeted, I got his post notifications on Giants. You know what I'm saying? He tweeted and he said, I missed the first hour of the game. How's JJ looking? And I didn't respond, but I wanted to respond. And it was like, no, he just looks poised. He looks poised. He looks like Kevin O'Connell is drawing up things that make him at least comfortable or at least like, hey, if nothing's here, you know your check down is right here. Your hot is right here. I think KOC helped him be comfortable. I felt like JJ was poised, firm, didn't make any really like terrible decisions. I even think that out route that he threw the pick six on was not a terrible decision. I think it was late. And it was a tad bit inside, like a tad bit, but I think it was late. And as everybody knows, the two things you can't be on an out route is late or inside. So I think after that, he kind of settled in, if that makes sense. I think he's one of those guys. Let me get it out. Not really get it out the way, but now that it's done, now that the worst thing that could possibly happen to me is throwing this pick six is over. I got a little sense of freedom. I got a little sense of I can't do no worse than throw a pick six. You know what I mean? Like I can't do no worse than that. So I might as well go out here and play free flowing. You know, just have some fun. I believe Aaron Jones said when JJ came into the huddle, he was like, going on to that last drive, he was like, is there any other place you'd rather be right now? And that coming from a 22-year-old first game in the NFL, game-winning drive on the line is like, nigga, what you just say? Then for him to proceed to be the one to score the game-winning touchdown, it's like, kid might got something. Again, as I've been trying to keep into perspective, this whole pod is it's only week one. It's only week one, so I'm not gonna trip. I'm not gonna go too hard on nobody. JJ showed poise and patience, and I think he just turned everybody into believers. If I'm being honest, being down, number two receiver, being down, $100 million left tackle. throwing pick sixes early in the game. I just think, man, you. What am I trying to say? He overcame all the obstacles that was placed in front of him, and I think that is a huge part of being a quarterback. All the small things that could deter me from being good or for having an impact on this game, I ain't let it affect me. I just continue to do what I need to do, continue to chopping wood, as they say. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. Shout out JJ. Shout out the Vikings. Shout out my boy AJ. He might be the only Vikings fan I actually know in life. So shout out him too. And before we get out of here, we're gonna do these week 2 predictions. Comment, like, subscribe. Go do that. Comment, like, subscribe. Subscribe, like, comment. Comment, like, subscribe. Hold on. Pause just a second. That, like, you know what I mean? Subscribe. Like, comment, subscribe, people. That's all I'm asking y'all to do. Like, comment, subscribe. Go be a real one for today. Anyway, moving on to last thing we're going to do today, man. Week 2 predictions. We got all the games here written out. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to go down the list. Tonight, man, 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock on Prime. Or if you got other methods, use them other methods. Feel me? Green Bay versus Washington tonight, man. I'm going to take that's a tough one. I think this is going to be a really good game. But I don't like the way Washington played on Sunday either. I'm pretty sure they don't either, and they want to clean some shit up, but I definitely don't like it. And they in my division, and they just beat us. Now, if this was a normal week and they ain't just beat us, I might be, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm going Green Bay. I ain't going to lie. That's what I'm going with. Moving on, Giants versus Dallas, bro. Are we really going to have this conversation? My mama a Dallas fan, not me. Moving on, Seattle versus Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh looked good last week. Where are we at? Let me see where this game is being played at. Yeah. This game is being played in Pittsburgh. I'm taking the Steelers. As much as I want to see, I don't think I really want to see A-Rod go out on a losing season, but I don't know. It's something in there. Something in me is like, yeah, fuck him. Just a little bit. just a little bit. So here, don't fuck with it. No, Rams, Titans. I think that's pretty easy. I'm taking the Rams, Bills, Jets. The Jets played exceptional football last week. Either that or the Steelers ain't that good. Jets played really good football last week. So I'll say, but I'm still going to say the Bills. I just think it's too much. I ain't gonna lie. To me, coaching advantage, quarterback advantage, defense might be a little wash, and Justin Fields got to keep doing it for me. I'm a believer in Justin Fields' ability, and I do think he can be a really special NFL quarterback. I just need to see it more than once. I need to see it consistently. I need to see this camaraderie and chemistry continue to build with Garrett Wilson. I know that's your former teammate in college, but I need it to be NFL chemistry. I need y'all to be on one. I need Mason Taylor to get involved in this game. Y'all just cut Xavier Gibson, so he won't be returning no kicks for y'all. He plays for the Giants now. They just claimed him. So we'll just see. Breece Hall had a really nice game, so if y'all are going to be able to run the ball, and then you make plays off that, I'm not mad at it either. However you got to be successful, go be successful, Justin, but I'm still going to pick the Bills. Dolphins, Pats. The Dolphins looked like shit last week, and the Pats didn't look great either, but I rock with the Pats because of how bad the Dolphins lost. Y'all, because of how bad they looked, y'all made Daniel Jones look like a Hall of Famer. So, Anybody that do that the following week, I will not be picking your team. Just letting you know that. Jags versus Bengals. I'm picking the Bengals. I think I said that earlier. The Jags. I don't know. I feel like them about the way I feel like about the Jets. It's like if y'all can run the ball and y'all can let Trevor be successful based off the fact that y'all are running the ball, then cool. But other than that, I don't really see much of a winning window for them. I don't. The division is still kind of up for grabs because I think the only other team in the division that you might have to worry about is the Texans. I don't think the Colts will continue to do what they've been doing. So it can get a little easier for the Jags, I'll say, as far as winning that division. But yeah, I'm gonna go with the Bengals. Niners Saints. The Saints are really bad, and I thought I was just gonna pick everybody against them all year. But the Niners are gonna be without Brock Purdy, and that's huge because Mac Jones is gonna play. But I'm still gonna pick the 49ers because they have Kyle Shanahan, Christian McCaffrey. That's all they need. He'll figure it out. Browns, Ravens, taking the Ravens. I think that's pretty simple. I expect I'm going to say a pretty close game, but I expect it to be within 10 points. I expect the Ravens to come out and win, though, because especially the way they blew this last one, I think they've come out with a little bit of a vengeance. Bears versus Lions. These are the two teams in the NFC North that I actually believe are in the same place. Like, still trying to figure it out. Goff has new coordinators, but Ben Johnson is the head coach in Chicago, but he's calling plays, so he's essentially you have a new coordinator, Caleb. Uh, Defense, I believe the defense is it's a new defensive coordinator out there in Chicago because Eberflus is in Dallas. Same thing in Detroit. You got a new defensive coordinator because defensive coordinator is now head coach of the Jets. Shout out Aaron Glenn. So I think these two teams are in the exact same spot. But I do think Detroit's a little embarrassed from last week, and I just think that the Bears are just hard to. I don't know. They lost a lot of games the way they lost Monday night. They lost a lot of games like that last year, and I just think it just starts to set in, and you just start to get this feeling of, are we ever going to win a close one? And I do think it's a division game, and it's going to be a close one. So I'm just going to pick the Lions for that sake. Broncos at the Colts. I think the Daniel Jones hype dies a little bit, and Sean Payton and Bo Nixon and Broncos go in there and handle business. That's a real defense he about to play. He didn't play he's not going in there playing Miami. He playing a real defense. They legit. So we'll see how he fares. Good luck, nigga. Anyway, Panthers versus the Cardinals. This is, to me, it's another dookie game, but we'll talk about it. Not really talk about it, but I'm going to go Cardinals just because I don't like what I saw from the Panthers last week. No, Xavier Legette just looks like, I don't know. He just looks like a big guy that's out there running around. He was getting abused. Bryce was still getting abused. I don't know. They paid a lot of money on the offensive line. So, yeah, I'm not sure what's going on out there in Carolina right now, but it's not pretty. So I'll take the Cardinals. Eagles, Chiefs, that's the 4 o'clock window. I'm taking the Chiefs. It's very, 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 very hard for me to pick the Eagles just because I'm a Giants fan and I really can't stand them niggas. I hate green. I hate the fact that this pin is green. Like, it's bothering me. So I'm gonna pick the Chiefs. I pick the Chiefs, just bounce back game. I don't want to say the Eagles riding high. The Eagles got a dub. They got a few more days of rest, so that plays in their advantage. But I just think the Chiefs come out and pull it out. No, Xavier Worthy is going to be a little tough, especially because you're already missing Rashee Rice. But I think they find a way to figure this out. At least that's what I'm going to roll with. If not, then not. But I think they find a way to figure it out. Falcons, Vikings, I was just giving mad props to JJ, so it would be crazy of me if I went back on that, but I am going to go back on that. I'm taking the Falcons. I'm taking the Falcons strictly because I think that defense is better. I think that offense is capable of being great. And I think I don't know. The more I think about it, the more I'm getting some rebuttals in my head about the Vikings. The Vikings have Brian Flores on defense, who has been a monster as a defensive coordinator since he got there. He's been a monster, but since he got there, I don't know if he has the personnel he wants, but he is doing some shit. Tell you that much. And then Kevin O'Connell, coach of the year, it just might be the best offensive brain in football. Shout out Sean McVay and guys like that, but he might really be the best brain in football. So ah where we at? Where we at? Where we at? Vikings versus, because if they can keep this game close the way they kept that Chicago game close, you know, I think they got a shot. They got a legit shot. And it's in the bank. U.S. Bank Stadium. It's in the bank. Yikes! Jordan Addison will still be suspended though. What time? Ooh, it's a Sunday nighter. That's a toughie. That's tough. Can I pick a draw? A tie. Who in here? Who in here with me? Pick wisely is crazy. No, I'm struggling. Shout out Cover Two Podcast, man. Y'all go check them out. All your Falcons content. It's all NFL content, but if you a Falcons head, definitely go over there and check them out. Boy JC, boy Kyrie over there. Shout out to them. Man, it's a tough one though, JC. The Falcons and Vikings. I think I like. Can I pick a tie? Because if not, I probably just stay with the Falcons because that's where I was at in the first place. But that's a tough one. I ain't gonna lie, that's a tough one. Bucks Texans. I don't think the Texans is really worth a damn right now. I think not having Tank Dell and having all these rookie receivers and guys we don't know about is just catching up to them. They scored 9 points against the Rams, so yeah, I'm gonna go with the Bucks, man. I'm gonna go with the Bucks. JC says we speaking for the Falcons should win, but you know how that goes. Yes, I have noticed how y'all games tend to go at the end. Y'all are kind of like the Ravens in that regard, where it's like y'all lose the game, the other team don't really win it, y'all lose it. But you know, I'll stick it out. I'll stick it out with y'all. I go to Falcons over the Vikings. It's a little, man, that's rough. Just based on, because I believe more in they coordinators than they coordinators and they head coaches more than I believe in y'all's. But that's really it, because offensive talent wise, I think y'all win. Defensive wise, y'all gotten a lot better. But their defense is just legit to me with Brian Flores at the helm. So that's gonna be a good one. That's a hell of a Sunday night game. They did a good one on that schedule making with that one. Then the last one we got Chargers versus Raiders. Sorry, LA. I picked y'all niggas last week. I won't do it again. At least no time soon. Go Chargers, nigga. Bolt up. But yeah, man, I'm in this mug by myself, so I don't have much to say. You know, subscribe, like. This is what happens when what is this? When StreamYard makes you pay for stuff. Instead of hitting my button that tell y'all to do this, I gotta do stuff like this. You feel me? So that's a not Ike, like Ike Turner. And that's a subscribe. So do them two things, y'all. I appreciate y'all. Well, y'all, now I'm about to do random shit by myself until this is over. You feel me?